it's starting.
Oh, hello. My name is Professor Horatio Habitat, and I've been walking across Missouri teaching about the importance of a healthy habitat.
I think I'm going to be bored soon.
I'm so in agreement. It's clueless.
Water, shelter, and space.
I think this movie needs a makeover.
Yeah, so like if we're really going to get clued into conservation, let's do it in style.
As if. First, we'll need lots of color.
Let's start with fall color. Great contrast.
Hello, don't forget winter white.
It's classic.
For spring, deep greens.
In summer, sky blue.
Okay, we have color, so what else do we need for our movie makeover?
Lots of action.
And a great soundtrack.
You know, we need to go learn about conservation so we can tell a good story.
Let's go.
The fish, the forest, and the wildlife will have a happier tomorrow. Goodbye.
Gayla and I needed to find a place to start learning about conservation, so we went to our nature center.
The Missouri Department of Conservation has nature centers in St. Louis, Kansas City, Springfield, and Jefferson City, and conservation areas all over the state, where you can see lots of cool stuff.
Like owls, prairies, eagles, otters.
You're talking about conservation in Missouri, you're talking fish, forests, and wildlife.
To find out how and why they take care of our fish, forests, and wildlife, we asked the conservation agent to clue us in.
So what's conservation all about?
Well, we look after the fish, forest, and wildlife, so they'll be around a long time for everybody to enjoy. It's all about balance. Populations go up and down, and we try to keep these in balance with what the land can support and people will tolerate. Trees, fish, and wildlife are renewable resources, meaning new ones are created, new trees replace old trees, and animals have young.
Gayla and I learned that keeping the balance meant a give and take. Sometimes we give, like when we plant trees on Arbor Day. And sometimes we take, like when we cut trees for firewood and houses. Also, since people like to hunt and fish, the Department of Conservation has rules so we don't take too many, or the wrong sizes, or kinds of fish and wildlife. Like that's the fair thing to do.
It seems like a lot to keep in balance.
There is, and it takes a lot of hard work to make sure we have plenty of healthy habitats for wildlife to survive.
Hello? What's a habitat?
A habitat is a place where animals live. It's their home, where they eat, roam, give birth, and raise young. We have lots of great habitat in Missouri, like caves, prairies, rivers, and forests. Even your house can be a habitat for raccoons and squirrels.
So, taking care of habitat is important.
That'd make a great music video.
Ooh, major snaps for you.
A habitat is like a home base, a place where an animal can feel really safe. Water, food, and shelter too, a place to raise their babes. Animals need habitats before their future fades. Prairies tall and hollow logs, sunny glades and steamy bogs, muddy marsh and quiet caves, an open field that no one paves. A habitat is like a home base, a place where an animal can feel really safe. Water, food, and shelter too, a place to raise their babes. Animals need habitats before their future fades. Animals need habitats before their future fades.
So if there's not enough habitat, animals would be like homeless.
You bet. Each habitat can only support a certain number of animals. So when people move in or there's too many animals in one place, some of the animals have to find a new place to live. This is very hard for animals and many don't survive. They face dangers from accidents and can die from starvation or disease. This can cause problems for people too. Deer might get into gardens or run out in front of cars and cause accidents.
Ooh, I'm trying not to hear that. It sounds scary.
Well, it can be. Hunting seasons are one way we try to keep the populations balanced so that animals and people don't have to suffer from these kinds of things.
So conservation was all about balancing populations and keeping healthy habitats. Gail and I were ready to make the fish, forest, and wildlife connection.
How many kinds of fish are in Missouri? 200? 2,500? 25,000? The answer is A. Around the world, there are 25,000 species of fish. But here in Missouri, we have a little more than 200 different kinds. One of our oldest and biggest fish in the state is the lake sturgeon. They can grow as long as 8 feet and live 60 to 70 years. One of the biggest weighed over 300 pounds and lived 152 years.
Since Gayla and I live near water, we went to a stream discovery day to learn about fish.
Morning.
Hi.
How you doing?
We met some friends and a fisheries
We're
biologist.
just gonna play out in the stream a little bit and see if we can catch some insects and some crayfish to look at. Do y'all want to join in and help us?
Yeah.
2 of you are gonna hold the net down on this end. The rest of you are gonna go upstream and you're gonna start kicking around in the gravel and you're gonna start washing some of the things down into the seine.
It was cool. We spread out a seine, which is like a big net, and did the crayfish shuffle to see what we could find in the stream.
Okay, you ready? Let's lift it up. There's a few different ones.
See, we got more.
Travis said the healthiest streams have lots of different kinds of fish and insects.
Yeah, and streams that only have a few fish might have problems with pollution or erosion.
Also, insects are like really important. Since they're the basis of the food chain, lots of fish need to eat insects to survive. If you find certain kinds of insects and mussels in a stream, that means the water quality is good.
I really like the orange-throat darter. Its colors were so neon.
The more brightly colored ones are the males.
How come the males have more color than females?
Do you have an older brother?
Yeah,
Does he date?
yeah.
What does he do when he's getting ready for his date?
He puts on cologne and slicks back his hair.
He's getting all dressed up trying to attract a female, isn't he?
Yeah.
These fish are trying to do the same thing. The males are getting all colored up trying to attract a female.
Oh. Brandy and I learned that fish need lots of good habitat too, like food, clean water, and cover to hide from predators, rest from the current, or ambush prey.
Conservation biologists help improve fish habitats by building brush piles for cover, helping people have the right kinds of plants for food in ponds, and keeping lots of plants around streams so they don't erode and muddy the water.
You know, Missouri has a lot of cool fish. Maybe we should do like a poem or something.
Yeah, something with major snaps.
Ooh, fish. Cold, cold-blooded fish. You've been hanging around for millions of years. You smell and see, taste, touch, and hear with your inner ears. Ah, fish. Crazy catfish. Channel, flathead, bullhead. Nice whiskers, babe. I see you sneaking along the bottom, looking for crayfish. Ooh, baby, the bluegills for me. Shaped like a frisbee. You can turn on a dime and catch bugs in no time. Turn up the bass for the bass with a big mouth. You can go anywhere, man. Even backwards. Chasing fish and frogs. You're at the top of the food chain, baby. Bass is boss. Whoa, paddlefish. Like a shark with your snout. What's that all about? Your ancient man. Only living relatives in China. And big, dude. Over 100 pounds. About 7 feet long. Living for 20 years or more. Fish, fish everywhere. Too many to count. Do you have any, Jack? Go fish.
Did you know fishing is like one of the most popular outdoor activities?
Yeah, and conservation has a lot of good fishing clinics and fairs.
It's great. You can learn to fish or check out the booths and games. It's too much fun.
Ooh, you can even taste the fish.
Okay, I think we're ready for a fish story. Brittany Dwellingham and her grandfather like to hang out and fish together and then fry up their catch.
It's nice to come out and look at the lake, and it's very relaxing because you can have fun fishing, get to eat the fish, and when you catch it and clean it. Oh.
I particularly like fishing because it's one of the sports, it's a lifetime sport. No matter what a person's condition, they can fish. I don't remember my first fishing trip, but I've been fishing quite a while. I came from a very large family, and we had limited means, so the boys, all of us hunted, fished a lot to help supplement the diet. Because we were so poor, I think we originated poverty.
Well, it's fun fishing with my grandfather because, like, if I don't know how to do something correctly, he'll help me with my problems, and then I'll become like a better fisher. And he just helps me a lot of times through my troubles and stuff.
Bring it up, and you can feel the weight of that lure. I want her to know the weights of her lures and the action of them.
It's fun, and you learn like new things from not doing something right. Then he'll show me how to do it correctly.
I just love it. And when the kids were coming along, I was working so hard trying to make a living for them, I didn't get a chance to enjoy them. Now we have the grandkids, and I don't think grandparents spoil grandkids. We have a ball. Have you had fun? About ready to call it a day?
Yeah, let's get ready to go.
Let's go fillet the fish. You gonna cook?
When I clean the fish, it's kind of gross to me because it's like all the intestines and everything you see inside, and it's kind of neat, the things that the fish have inside of its body. And sometimes it's hard to clean the fish on the outside because its scales are really hard to get off, and it takes a lot of work. But if you know how to do it, it's easy. When we come back from fishing, my grandmother will help me cook some fish, and we'll both clean them together. That's what my grandmother and I usually do, is clean and cook the fish.
How you making out? How you making out?
All right.
I believe in the old saying that you can feed a person and they learn nothing. But if you teach them to fish, they can feed themselves and feed others. Big one that you brought in. That's good.
Want some more catfish?
Don't mind if I do.
You know, fish are a very nutritious dietary substance.
So we know it's important to have a lot of healthy fish, and fishing is a fun sport. What's next?
Well, here's a riddle to help us move on. What's big and spread all over Missouri and helps keep our waters clean?
I'm clueless.
Duh, the forest.
What's the best way to keep a forest growing? Cutting trees, leaving trees alone, or grazing? The answer is cutting trees. We have to cut trees to keep trees. Otherwise, old forests would die off and just a few types of trees might push out all the others. So to have lots of different kinds of trees, which helps keep lots of animals and birds around, we have to cut some trees to help others get enough sunlight to grow strong and healthy. And this helps keep our forests producing oxygen, providing lots of food and homes for wildlife, keeping the waters clean and cooling the planet.
Brainy and I went hiking through the woods to see the forest through the trees.
Binoculars are a really must-have accessory to see birds and other animals up close.
Hello! Don't forget field guides so you can identify what you see.
Did you know that trees are really popular? Well, they bring so much style to the landscape, it's hard not to like them. They have great textures, shapes, and have all the right seasonal colors.
Wildlife and birds like them for homes and food.
Fish like them because they shade the water and help keep it clean.
And people like their beauty and use wood for lots of stuff.
Hello! We should do a thing that shows stuff that people use that comes from trees.
Yeah, let's use some animation.
Is there a tree in your house? Well, just about. Lots of things we use every day come from trees. There's obvious things like furniture and firewood, and others you might never guess. Like in the kitchen, you might find wood floors, cabinets, and tables, but would you believe cleansers, vitamins, and fruit? What about the bathroom? There's toilet paper, but also soap, makeup, and hairbrushes. In the bedroom, you might find books, baseball bats, and helmets, toys, and even some clothes. Check out the family room. Besides couches, chairs, and tables, there are televisions, stereo speakers, magazines, bookshelves, even videotapes. So let's knock on wood that we have so many great gifts from the forest.
Here's some major snacks for us, all from Missouri trees. Black walnuts, apples, and pecans.
So I know that we use a lot of things that come from trees, and the forest provides lots of habitat for animals. But what I don't understand is how are we involved? This question was much bigger than the both of us, so Gail and I went to a day in the forest at Rockwood's reservation near St. Louis. There were lots of cool things to do that showed how we're all connected to the forest.
Hi, how are you girls doing?
We met a conservation forester who showed us how to identify pine and oak trees and our state tree, the flowering dogwood.
And this is a silver maple.
Beverly told us that forests are more than just trees. Trees are easy to notice because they're so big. But a forest is a whole community of trees, plants, birds, animals, insects, and more.
Did you know that 100 years ago, we lost a lot of our forests as they built railroads, towns, and houses? But today, even though there are a lot more people, we have more trees than 50 years ago, and we're still able to use trees for new houses and towns.
Conservation foresters take care of Missouri's forests by planting trees, keeping them healthy as they grow, and harvesting them when they're ready to be cut.
Wow, check this out. Our forests are like full of life. There's foxes and raccoons, black bears and bobcats, skunks, skinks, turkeys, turkey vultures, woodpeckers, woodchucks, frogs, snakes, turtles, fish, spiders, owls, coyotes, possums, grouse, bats, and deer. Whoa, too many to name.
There's also cool plants and trees, even Christmas trees.
Cool, a Christmas story. Whoa, that's a lot of trees.
This is a tree farm. People come here to cut their own Christmas trees.
Wouldn't it be easier to use an artificial tree?
As if. You can't beat the real thing. Plus, it's a renewable resource that you can recycle. Most artificial trees are made with plastic, which comes from oil and is not renewable. Once it's gone, it's gone.
What about this one?
I kind of like it, but I don't know, maybe a little.
Josh and Jadrian and their parents come here every year for their family Christmas tree.
That's the one you've been eyeballing?
It takes a lot of looking to find the perfect tree that everyone can agree on. The owner of the farm said that this is poor land to grow most things on, but these trees do great, and they keep the soil from eroding like it would if nothing was planted here.
The beauty of a Christmas tree operation is that when you harvest a tree, you can plant another one. So you keep a constant green vegetation growing, and that's important. And the fact that we harvest then means that people can make a living off of this land. It's not just there to look at and preserve forever. There's no reason why we can't harvest off of it and still have a perfect environment.
Mom, we found a tree! Josh and Jadrian's family have found their tree, and now they get to cut it down and take it home.
Here we go. Here it comes. Did you have fun today?
Yeah. While the farm wraps it up, they hang out by the fire and warm up until the wagon comes to take them back. Now all that's left is the decorating.
What am I? A muskrat, mink, beaver, or otter? The answer is the beaver. Don't leave it to beaver if you want to keep your trees. These wily critters can weigh more than 50 pounds and eat up to 2 pounds of bark and plants every day. Beavers chew trees and dam up waterways. You might catch a glimpse of their paddle-shaped tail as they carry sticks back to their lodges and dens. Like muskrats, minks, and otters, they can swim underwater and are the largest rodent in the U.S.
We were really clueless about animals in the wild and how conservation takes care of them. Then we met Sam Hagen, who works after school with a conservation wildlife biologist.
What kinds of things do you do here?
Well, for one thing, I helped build this duck blind, which is specially built for disabled hunters. We camouflage this blind so the birds won't see the hunters and the birds won't fly off.
Like, what's the most favorite thing you've done?
I believe the most favorite thing I've done so far is put up a bat house to see how close they can actually get to people.
So how'd you get interested in conservation?
I've been hunting since I was 8 and enjoy the outdoors. I come down after school each day and have fun working on different projects.
Sam and the biologists were pumping water out to flood the wetlands. Sam said they help control the water levels to provide food and resting areas for migrating waterfowl and shorebirds.
Brady and I couldn't believe you could see so many cool birds in Missouri.
Gayla and I learned that wetlands were really cool. They remove pollution, prevent floods, and provide homes for waterfowl. They're also great for recreation like hunting, fishing, camping, nature watching, photography, and hiking.
When wetlands are destroyed, wildlife suffers. There's just not enough space or food, and animals like birds and muskrats lose their homes. Populations go way down, and some animals can become endangered. So we need good wetland habitat to help keep lots of different types of wildlife around.
Conservation's wildlife biologists told us that they help restore and improve habitats like wetlands for wildlife. He said that animals, like people, relied on the carrying capacity of the land. The carrying capacity is the number of animals that a habitat can support. Too many animals can destroy the habitat for others. Let's try the experiment. The bucket is deer habitat, and the water is the deer. When the bucket is full, it can't hold anymore. So when the deer habitat reaches its carrying capacity, deer must find other habitat or die.
Come on, let's do the game.
Whatever.
The deer are everywhere, aren't they? Right here in town where we are today. So right now, I want you to get up, and when I count to 3, on 3, you can get up and slowly go to the 3 places we've set out for you to find your food supply. Remember now, we've got to have 60 pounds for you to live 1 month through the winter. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Go to any place you would like.
We found a middle school class that was playing the game. The kids are deer who have to go collect food. They have to get so many pounds of acorns, corn, sumac, clover, and other wild food to survive. A few kids play hunters who tag their limit from the herd.
The first round or season, there's plenty of food for everyone.
two deer on the end were the ones that the hunters got. How much did you get before the hunters got you?
35.
35. How about you?
5 pounds.
5, okay. And these are the deer that supposedly are going to survive. How many pounds did you get?
105.
100. Hey, listen, you did really good. Next one.
90.
90. Hey, you're right in there too.
40.
40. Uh-oh, you didn't make it.
Nope.
Maybe next time, okay? But you know, that's why we do the management that we do, because some deer out there are not getting the amount of food that they need if there's too many in the population.
The next round, there are too many deer, so only the healthiest will survive. The hunters help keep the populations balanced, which helps protect the habitat and people too.
You know, way back in historic times, we used to have timber wolves, the gray wolf, and mountain lions. But now that those animals are gone, we eliminated them from the landscape here in Missouri. So now that those animals are gone, we have to rely primarily on hunting to keep our deer herd balanced. And a deer herd that's out of balance is trouble, because these animals will overeat the habitat, they will take too much food, they will destroy the habitat that's out there, and consequently then the herd really declines. And that's what we don't want to do. That's why we permit a regulated hunting season that tells us how many deer that we can harvest, and that's what we really strive for, is to keep that balance.
The class learned that harvesting deer is an important way to keep populations in balance with what people can tolerate.
So we discovered that a balanced population helps people and deer live together without a lot of problems and accidents.
Check this out. This orange is a real good color for me. Look, you can see me from like really far away.
It's hunter orange and it's like that for safety, so hunters can see each other in the woods. Conservation has rules for what to wear and how to handle and carry firearms, so people can be safe when they hunt.
So like people hunt for recreation and food, and we saw in the deer game that it also helps to keep animal populations in balance.
Conservation agents help hunters control when, where, and how animals are harvested to keep populations healthy and strong.
Conservation also helps parents pass along the tradition of hunting to their kids. Every year they have a special youth-only deer hunt. One of the best things is they get far out in nature and have a rare chance to see a lot of cool wildlife.
So hunting, like fishing and cutting trees, are part of the give and take of keeping populations balanced. When we take, we also give. Wow, that's deep. When we harvest our resources, we make room for species to grow stronger, and then the habitat stays in good shape, and we have a healthy supply of animals, fish, and trees.
So that's what conservation is all about. Conserving life, all the gives and takes we do to keep the balance, so we can enjoy our fish, forest, and wildlife forever.
Now that we were clued into conservation, Gail and I went back to the Nature Center to finish our video makeover. If you don't want to stay clueless about conservation, here's some things you can do. Visit your Nature Center or conservation office.
You can hike the trails and find out about a lot of cool things.
Also, conservation has a lot of stuff, like maps, books, games, videos, a TV show, and magazine.
Which of these is not a habitat for wildlife? While refrigerators can cause a feeding frenzy for the human species, it's not a habitat where wildlife can survive. The others are habitats where animals can find food, shelter, water, and space. What is carrying capacity? How many possums can fit on a mother's back? How far an eagle can fly with a fish? The most population that a habitat can support? The answer is C. Carrying capacity means the most population that a habitat can support. When there's overpopulation, some animals may have to move on.
I think we need one last thing for our makeover. What's that? An original song.
Hello, and a montage.
What's a montage?
I think it's French for lots of cool shots.
Okay.
Girlfriend, our work is done. Let's hit the trail.
Keep the balance.
Keep
the balance.
the balance.
It's all about balance.
Animals and people, habitat you know. How much can it handle? Who controls the flow?
Whoa, what's a habitat?
Where animals live. It's their home.
Keep the balance. Animals and people, habitat you know.
How much can it handle? Who controls the flow?
When we take, we also give. So that's what conservation's all about.
Animals and people, habitats you know.
How much can it handle? Who controls the flow?
Keeping the balance. Sometimes we give, and sometimes we take. Keeping the balance.
Keep the balance.
Whoa.
Keep the balance. Keep that balance.